What? Oh, that's hilarious. I've been. My mic has been off this whole time. Awesome. Good job, Kitagawa. Amazing. Yeah, so that's really weird and ridiculous. No audio for the first half of the stream while I was talking about making a dice tower out of cardboard. Anyway, so anyone else watching who's like, oh, I guess this guy just like randomly films himself making things without any commentary. Well. Honestly, I kind of just use streaming as like accountability to keep making stuff. Like, it's nice to have to like talk through your own thoughts and ideas about how something that you're building is going to work. Okay, let's try another test dice roll. 10. Is it working? 17. It's working. 15. It works. Yay. You can't even see me put it in because it's too tall. But, alright, so then... guess we'll have... guess we don't need to alternate that much. Okay, this is also the nicest cut edge too. Oh, this bottom is crooked. Alright. I think I should have used this as the bottom, even though it's all jacked up. It's actually a straighter cut. Alright. Yeah, this one's way crooked. Okay. We interrupt your regularly scheduled assemblage of a dice tower to trim shit off a little bit better. This might be lopsided, but at least it'll have a clean edge. In theory. Don't do this at home, kids. You don't want to be cutting. You want to cut on a fully supported mat as opposed to holding up part of it with your knee and then hoping you don't stab yourself later on. Alright. But smooth controlled blade pulls is the way to go. Lots of pressure on the cutting bar side. Ooh, and look. Now we have a nice clean edge down here. Oh, you know, this one could be the last one that kicks it out. Oh. So this is an interesting problem I just realized because however, okay, maybe I need to just do another one right here. A little bit higher up. The reason I'm concerned about the placement of this is because at the end of all of this I am going to basically have to kick the die out a hole that I still haven't cut. And I was waiting to cut it because I wanted to see sorry, this camera view sucks. I know. I wanted to see how this all works together so then I could figure out how best to kick out the final die. Okay, so this is a problem. Okay, I've now discovered why most people make die towers as squares. Because, okay, so if you're building these little ledges that the die bounces off of as it comes down, ostensibly, okay, so it's going to end up in this corner. Even if I want the die to come back this way, I have to build like a weird triangle slope, and it's always going to come out likely at an angle. It's not just going to come out the middle. It's going to come out to the side. Because that's just the nature of how this is going to work. So that's a really interesting point. Or it's likely going to do that. I don't know. Maybe I can engineer some weird thing that like changes the angle or like flips it around like inside of here. So if like that's... Okay. I guess I should do that now. The proper thing would be to make a big hole like that, but then that's going to be super hard to sculpt on. This is way better. I can properly like weight this more easily. You can't see what I'm doing because the camera's in a fixed place, and I just need a bigger work desk is what I realize. Anyway. All right, what time is it for you, Rebus? Okay. I guess I can actually just make this cut a really simple shape because all of the yeah. Can you see now? Anyway, if I cut this out, I can draw like the other kind of cool stuff will be on top. Because I'm building a faceplate that will be sculpted in clay that will go on top of this. Is the idea. So I'm basically just going to quickly let's see. Okay, so see, I have these on these two panels, so I can't lay it flat anymore because I'm a fool and I didn't cut this in time. So now I'm going to try to cut over there, but you don't need to see me cut a oval in a piece of cardboard. I haven't cut a good oval, guys. Okay, this is... You never want to be cutting like this in real life if you can help it. It's very dangerous. Make sure you're always like your fingers are free, that if you go like that with the X-Acto blade, you don't cut your fingers. I look like I'm a madman, but ooh, new prize at midnight. Is it midnight? I mean your time? Do I need to go jump into the Discord and hit the thingy? On the Tezos Discord, the Tezos Community Discord, TTC. Where are you? was 13. Damn. Looks like I still need 7. Oh well, I'll come back in a few hours. Okay, so now we have a hole here. So where'd my dice go? Oh, there it is. Okay, so if this works, let's see how this works. I'm just gonna get a little bitty bit of tape. We're gonna close this up. And I'm going to drop the die in the thing. If it comes down, see how it came out from this corner? Okay, I need something here to like pop it down. But it's rolling. It works. It's 13, but it needs to have something that like knocks the whole thing forward. Okay. So I'm hoping that sort of like a big cone type shape might work. Something kind of like that to sort of hopefully, I don't know, at least have it redirected out. So with this should actually get the masking tape. Contractor grade masking tape. This, my friends, might be a little bit gnarly because it's going to basically close off 2 sides of this dice thing. Looks like I need the angle to be higher. Because that bows down a little bit, but whoa, there it goes. It's really spitting it out now. Yeah. All right. So now we have a functional dice tower. I'm going to tape it up. I'm going to just slice the tape down the middle. In real life version of TTC's rolling advent calendar. That is true. People can just come in and I could be like, ha, 5. This one, it's not kicking it out as far. I just need it to like clear. I don't need it to like fly out, but I do need it to just clear. Okay, so if it gets stuck, I can just push this a little bit. This bottom ledge, and it'll pop it out more. Okay. Okay, cool. So we have this. Now it's time to build the part I've been least looking forward to. Which is, okay, so one, I'm going to have to build a counterweight. So that's just part of how things are. 2, I'm going to have to build something that like, so this is the top, right? That hooks on here, and there's like a face thing so that I can start sculpting. And I guess the easiest thing is to actually make a hook. This is slightly too long. Ideally, needs to. Okay. This will be a cleaner break if I scribe it on that side. If I make another little scribe like that, this will break. In theory. Can sit more. If anything, I can tape this when I want it to stick on here. Tape it like that. Are there 50-sided die? I don't know if there's 50-sided. I know there's 100-sided die with the if you want to go, I don't know if there's a way to limit it to 50. I guess you could always use a 10-sided die and a 5-sided die. Oh, wait, is there a 5-sided die? No, there isn't. Yeah, you could do a 60-sided die, technically. Because you roll a 6-sided die for the 10s placement, and then you roll a 10-sided die for the 0 through 9. And that's kind of how you would do that. So we have this thing we could sculpt on top. Okay, now it's getting a. I didn't actually expect to get this far. Now I'm like, oh, I gotta find cardboard. Luckily, I just have sheets of cardboard lying around my desk, apparently. Alright. This is too large for the base, but that's fine. Something to there, okay. It's like I don't quite remember what this is for, and I hope I don't actually need it. Let me just. Yeah, so for like bigger die rolling, people just use combination of dies that dies always usually have to be, I think they need to be even sided. Oh yeah, no, there's tons of cardboard around the house for sure. Just in my immediately grab like within hand's reach. We usually try to break down all of the cardboard boxes and put them in very specific areas. And I have a ton of boxes for like shipping stuff out. I save boxes to reuse for shipping when I get online orders. So I definitely have more cardboard. I was just more of talking about like what I've got right here in front of me. Okay, not too shabby. All right. So now we've got something like this, everybody. Now we have a platform for the dice to roll into. So the clay part is going to sculpt from down here and then come onto this face. And so it'll be all clay and monstery looking. I realized if I just cut another piece of cardboard exactly this shape, and then I can super glue it to here, this part just comes behind it. It actually isn't supporting any weight. I might need to build, given how heavy clay is, I might need to use like balsa wood or something to like make little supports. So that, like imagine something like this. And then that's kind of the front part, and then literally the die tower just comes behind it. And like you can't really even see this ideally, you'll just see all of the front stuff and then the dice. Oops. Had to catch that. Yeah. So that's 5. That's dice rolling. I like it still managed to come out here and then roll down. Day 9. I have to roll 9. Ooh, natural 20. Which you can't even see. Alas. Ooh, I better go bookmark the Tezos community spaces that, so I don't forget this time. Oh boy. Wait, that was last week's? No, that was last week's. That's the one I missed. Ah, okay. We've got one this week, right? Right, Rubus? Are we doing? I have it down for this week. Yep. Cool. $18 UTC. Alrighty. Okay. Let's see. wonder if I don't even need... Okay, if I have this base... I feel like if we have this base, I can probably... The clay maybe on this base alone might be enough to weigh it down. And so I'm thinking, do I want... So, okay, this is monster clay. It's a oil-based clay that you... It's super hard, and then, but if you heat it up, it softens with heat. So ideally, we would take this. This is all like pretty hard. Cool. No worries. No rush. So this is monster clay. This is what I use to sculpt most of my stuff. It's not permanent though, so it doesn't really work to like paint. So I'm thinking if I want this ready, and I'm probably not gonna have time to sculpt, cast, and then make a mold, cast, and then paint it, I maybe should use epoxy clay, which is a 2-part epoxy clay that could just dries in about 4 hours. I find hardens in a lot less. And then maybe if I need to sculpt monster clay, I can, but I don't know. Maybe we're not going to use this. Maybe we're going to use this. It's by a company called Aves. It's called Epoxy Sculpt. But this means I'm going to have to grab gloves because... Like, you don't need gloves. This is a non-toxic, water-based modeling compound. But, like, it is epoxy, and I kind of don't really want to get it on my hands. And it also, like, kind of stays on your hands for a while. So let me go grab gloves. I'll be right back. Okay. Had to scoot that in so I can get out of my tiny little space. Yeah, nitrile gloves also make it much easier to clean. Word. Alrighty. Ta-da. I do need to go buy more nitrile gloves. That was one of the things. I bought a bunch of vinyl paint, and I bought a bunch of sculpting supplies and casting supplies with Black Fridays, but I forgot to get enamel. I should have gotten gloves someplace. So anyway, this is part A, or part B. This is part A. So the thing is, you don't want to like grab out of both, because whatever chemical, it's a chemical reaction. If you mix this with this, it hardens. So if you grab from this one and you grab from this one and you mix it to grab from the other one, it'll start reacting in like the other tube. So and whenever you grab a piece, remember you're going to have twice as much to work with. So this isn't just this much clay because it's a 1-to-1. I need twice, like a second ball that big, so it's going to be twice the ball. So if I'm like, oh, I want a ball, whatever amount you want, you get half of from each thing, if that makes sense. I think I could probably still use a little bit more. So this is a lot more than I usually work with, but because I'm building the full like structure of this, I'm going for it. This side I should have used my right hand for, because this side is the much, it's a little bit denser, so it's like harder to like pull out of. Okay, we're getting close. Like, it doesn't need to be exact, but like, you know, you want to be as close as possible. These are actually, I feel like this side is still smaller. I don't know. This is actually pretty close, surprisingly. Huh, cool, we'll go with that. Anyway. So now, you mash it together. If you have like a clay roller or like a pasta mix or like a pasta maker, like you can roll it through the pasta maker a bunch of times and that like mixes it. But otherwise, you just have to work out those hands. Sculpting, I have to say, sculpting is definitely, I found, to not be like a super, no, I don't want to say it's like in a very, it's a very physical craft. And like clay is hard to move around. You're like you gotta build up muscle to it. So you can see it starting to kind of marble here. We're gonna just keep mashing the hell out of it until it's all uniform gray mush. My thumbs are tired. I had a market on Friday. So markets are like okay, so I saw enamel pins, right? And enamel pins individually are not that heavy, but they are pieces of metal. And so when you have boxes filled with them, they're actually, the boxes are quite heavy. So I always feel like doing a market is always a nice workout. But that means my thumbs are also like killing me right now. No muscle. Or not that there's no muscle. Fatigue muscle. Not strong enough muscle. But I don't know if I can really blame the market or I can blame my sedentary lifestyle. I'll blame the sedentary lifestyle. Anyway, well, I'm getting a workout from mixing this epoxy clay. And you can see that now it's like, even if I break it open, it's all like pretty much a similar shade of gray. You don't see any banding, so we're getting pretty close. So also, when you first mix it, this is when it's going to be the stickiest. It definitely, after like an hour, is very not sticky. So you kind of, when you're having it, if you're applying it to something else and you're trying to, or like even if you have dry clay and you're trying to add the sticky clay to the dry clay, as in like, oh, I have, say there's like a skull sculpture and now I'm adding in like a snake or something. I'm trying to stick the snake to the skull. You want to do that as early as possible, because it doesn't really like to stick once it starts to harden up. So I don't need to put clay on this back triangle part because that's going to be covered by this. I really just need to worry about kind of this front area. And I don't even know if I necessarily want to... I don't know if I want to put a whole bed of clay over here because I don't have a clay roller. It will be uneven, and I'd rather have the dye not have little like parts of it that are going to I don't want the clay the dice to get like stuck, if that makes sense. So I'm first just building kind of like a wall for the dye to not get stuck in. So when you're working with epoxy clay, you only have a few hours of real working time. It'll eventually start to harden up and then get really difficult to move around. And so you kind of always want to start with like structural stuff first. Like you just want to get the basic structural part in, and then you can like sculpt on top of it to make it look better. Hey, see, it stuck. That's what I'm hoping for. 11. 20. Ooh, nat 20. Hey. Whoa. 3. That was weird. 12. 4. Okay. It's good to know that sometimes it can bounce out, because I can then build up these walls a little bit taller. But so the idea is it's going to be this big kind of like monster mouth where it comes out, and then these are going to be like tentacles, and they're going to cross each other, but they're going to come off the base. That's why I left this little opening here. And the other thing too that's nice about this product, the epoxy clay, is that it smooths out with water. So so like I really don't want to let it dry. Do you see how like rough that is? I don't know if you can see here, but it's like really crackly. If I don't smooth that out before it dries, that will become very rough and very not. I mean, and it's good that it's rough if you're trying to attach more stuff to it. But if you are not trying to attach more stuff to it, it's very not a good idea. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to try to build up clay easier to use. What do you? I mean, it's a epoxy clay, but it is a clay. Are you talking about like I don't know, like a fiery like a pottery clay or a water-based clay or something? I don't know. And so, okay, so this is the thing too. Why I'm choosing this clay versus maybe a different type of clay is because I need it to be air dry for one, because I can't bake anything. This is cardboard, uh, and it will set on fire. Two, clay that air dries. That okay, so this actually air cures, meaning that there's a chemical reaction that's going because it's epoxy that will harden it. It's not actually drying out, meaning which implies that water is evaporating out of the clay. If you have, if you're talking about like pottery clay or water-based clay, like wed clay is a common thing used in the FX industry and stuff. If you're talking about one of those, um, that stuff actually, while you can keep it moist longer, it can like once you let it dry, it'll crack because it's not meant to be used uh, as a dry clay. It's meant to be sculpted with, and then you make a casting of it with like plaster or gypsum cement or some other thing to make a mold from it. So that's how you would make like or even a silicone cast, right? But you basically are making a cast and you're throwing away the end clay. If you're trying to make a piece that you want to keep like alive, basically, or like that you want to be able to paint, you kind of need to use something that like a polymer clay. But the thing with polymer clay is to set that you need to heat it, and I'm doing my base on cardboard. So if I put this in the oven, the cardboard can catch on fire, or at the very least, it'll crisp. So that's why I'm using the epoxy clay as opposed to any of the other potential clays that I could be using. I'm looking to see if I have any. Ideally, I would have some armature wire right about now. Ooh, and I have to go feed my cats very, very soon. Which is sucks because I have this big piece of clay that I like, and like I gotta figure out how to use this. Maybe I will actually just put this down on this slab. So ideally, I want armature wire to stick in here to make like a loop, an arch, because that's going to, or something like that, because that's going to form the mouth. And that can be the basis for me sculpting more on top of it. All right. This took a lot longer than I hoped. Okay, I am actually going to run because I really need to find armature wire to prop these up before and then I also have to feed the cats, and then I have a meeting to be at. Busy bee, Rick. This is really thin for my purpose, but maybe it'll do. This is armature wire. Now I just need to find clippers to cut it. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, Rubus. Good to see you. I will see you on Thursday. Or, yeah, I think it's Thursday for you too, but maybe it's Friday for you. But I will see you shortly at the end of this week, and have a good one. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye-bye. GGGN. Ooh. There we go. Okay. Well, have a great dinner, Rubus. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. You too.